Hello, this is the portfolio by Artevelde. I am a Dutch student and I live in Ghent, Belgium. I go to school at the Artevelde University College, and for the subject of talent and management development we had to make a portfolio, so here it is. At the first session we were talking about reflection, and as we all know, for IBM students it is really important to have good study skills. In order to obtain these, we have to have a good reflection on ourselves. So here you see my SWOT analysis. As you can see, my strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. So a good strength of me is my good study capacity, but at the same time it is also a weakness, because I did not have to study a lot in high school. Therefore, it is also a threat that the distraction lures in, and that eventually I'm not going to study enough because I think I already know everything. After this, we had to look up a job advertisement. So here you have a print screen of my job advertisement at Human Resources Business Partner at the Harley-Davidson Motor Company. If you want to apply for the job, you need to have some skills and some experience. So the skills that are required is a bachelor degree, however a master degree is preferred. When we finish IBM, we will have obtained only the bachelor degree. The experience required is a minimum of 5 years of experience and leadership skills. However, if we finish the IBM program, we will only have the leadership skill. Experience can also be obtained by doing an internship. I've already found some, for example at the Alfa Romeo company, Ducati, Moto Guzzi. The theme of today was reflection. First of all, we had to introduce ourselves, saying who we are and the reason why we chose IBM. To be complete, I will do the same here. My name is Artevelde. I'm 19 years old, I'm a Dutch student, and I chose IBM because of the fact that I am highly interested in business life. Why then IBM and not a regular business program? The reason is that nowadays businesses are looking for people with an international mindset, and I believe that IBM is able to teach me this. That's the reason I chose Artevelde University College and ended up here in the class of Talent and Management Development. After this we had to present our biggest strengths and weaknesses. In my case, my strengths are that I am straightforward, which will help me in the leadership skills I have, and that I have a good study capacity. However, the last one is actually a weakness at the same time. I will elaborate on this. When I was in secondary school I hardly ever had to study, and therefore I have never been able to teach myself how to study. Last year in university, this was one of the reasons why I did not succeed. Another weakness is the fact that I find it really hard to keep up with my planning. A lot of students also suffer from stress. It is not really a threat because it is an internal factor, but it was quite interesting how the discussion started. Some said it was really bad to have stress, while others said it was not bad. I think it's not both of them. I think too much stress is too bad for you, but too little stress is also bad. Because if you have too much stress you will suffer from it, but if you have too less stress, it doesn't keep you sharp anymore. When I experience stress, what I do is I go cycling. I would just go for a trip for about 80 or 90 kilometers, and then when I get out of the shower my head is cleared and I can focus on what I have to do. Shares had a very good video. It gave us insight in the fact that we ourselves choose our lives. So if you want to cross a line, just go for it. However, the wall can be friends or family. I've already said to my girlfriend that I do not wish to keep living in the Netherlands or in Belgium. Unfortunately, she agrees. My parents would have some difficulties with it, but they would not restrain me from going. Here was the introduction and the motivation part. My motivation is that I really want to succeed the IBM program and mean something to the business world. I believe my strengths and my skills can be a great asset for a company. But how am I going to reach this? Very simple. Keep your end goals inside. So what are my end goals, really? First of all, I want to earn enough money so that I can sustain my family, then consisting of me, my girlfriend, maybe 1 or 2 kids, Newfoundlander dog, and of course a house. Then I want to drive a nice car, preferably an Alfa Romeo. And drive a motorcycle, a Ducati or a Moto Guzzi. In the past, I have thought about becoming a truck truck driver a lot, which was an obvious idea because my father, as well as his father, is a truck driver. Now, I can fortunately say that this does not spook around in my mind anymore, because I feel at the right place now. Perhaps I will become a truck driver once, but then it will be when I have my own transportation company. Speaking of the profession of my father and my grandfather, I believe that I have inherited my international mindset from them. My father has traveled to the United States in the past and went to Indonesia several times. When I have a good job, I will take him to the Grand Canyon to take him on a Harley Davidson or a Moto Guzzi. Of course, we need to watch out for demotivators as well. Last year, at Ugand, I experienced some demotivation as well. I had great difficulty with the mathematics there. I didn't understand anything of it. Also, my father-in-law got a CVA while he was putting his heart up on his Alfa Romeo Spider. Right at the time, the new world really stopped stirring, and the combination of both made me lose all my motivation. However, in the second semester the future looked a bit brighter, as my father-in-law was healing way faster than expected, but when the end of the semester approached, the motivation was gone again, because I could not see where the end was, considering that I had to take at least 6 exams again. I then followed my instinct, going a step down to high school, by doing the study I always wanted to do, IBM. After the motivation part, we discussed the study methods today. I do not really have a specific study method, but I use multiple. One I do use quite often is underlining my study material in different colors. The main point is yellow and the explanation is pink in my case. I find it very easy to create structure in my text. Planning is very useful to keep your goals in mind. So now I see my goals as a light beacon at the end of the horizon. Session 2 was all about planning. You can see it as a road you're standing on, but you're not sure which way to go. Therefore, I answered some questions first. First one is, what main areas of interest do you have? So first of all, I would like to work in the automotive sector, but transport is also one of my favorites. So what are my most important skills? I'm a good speaker in public and I can be a good leader. Also, I'm very goal oriented, which will help me a lot, I think. Some activities that go by without me really knowing it is the Spanish class. Also, when I go cycling, time is over before I even notice. A beneficial work environment would be for me that a boss will not only think of himself and of the management, but also of his employees. So when he has a problem, he should probably talk to the employees on a lower level, because they can actually be very useful, because they might just know the answer without really having to think a lot further. Good and open communication is also very important in my opinion. So what kind of people do you really like? I like people that are straightforward, that are hardworking, and most of all are efficient, because efficiency is the key to success, I think. I also like to have a multicultural work environment. Some suitable jobs for me will be in Italy, because at the Fiat Chrysler group you have Alfa Romeo, Ferrari and Maserati, and I really like these companies. Also, the motorcycle companies of Ducati and Moto Guzzi are really of my interest. In order to reach these goals, I will have to plan. So, I have divided my objectives in A and B objectives. A the most important, and B the a bit less important ones. So, I want to obtain my degree in IBM in order to have a good job. But also, I want to have good grades on my degree. Afterwards, I want to obtain my motorcycle license, but it is definitely one of my most important aims. Then I want to buy a car, travel as much as I can, which I can probably do in the job, and cycle up the Alpe d'Huez. Also, I like to learn Italian. Now the question is, how will I reach this? Indeed, to plan. Here you see my planning of an average week. And the next one is my exam preparation planning. Session 3 was about the student of today. We had to fill in a questionnaire about learning styles, and there were 4 categories which you could fall in eventually. So, first of all, there was the activist. Then there was the reflector, the theorist, and the pragmatist. I happen to be a pragmatist, but not a reflector at all. A theorist did also apply a little bit to me, and an activist, well, in some part. But it wasn't a surprise at all, because I already know that I am a pragmatist. I want to do things as efficient as possible. Now, what is a perfect study environment for me? A place with a lot of light, preferably sunlight. And when I don't have internet, it is also for a good cause. Here you can see the course of banking and finance. As you can see, I have highlighted the important things with yellow and the less important things with pink. Session 4 was about exam preparation, so I am going to discuss a trial exam of banking and finance now. It was a really harsh exam and it consisted out of 16 multiple choice questions. I had a score of 60%, but was I content with it? I must say yes, but I did not study yet. So what is my plan to campaign? Of course, I have to study. And then, my aim is to obtain a score of 80%, and then I will be content. Session 5 was about professionalism. We had to take some tests to know how we would be scoring on being a manager or being an entrepreneur. The first test I took was the entrepreneurial test. My scores were all in the vicinity of the red line, which meant the border of being a good entrepreneur. On the managerial test, I scored 77 out of 100. One day I would like to set up a new business. But I am not going to do this without a solid plan, because I can just not afford to lose all my money. However, I'm also not afraid to fail, which is a good asset for an entrepreneur. The case is though that an idea does not just come flying into your eyes. Nevertheless, I already have an idea to set up a transportation company. I have asked some people who have a transportation company already to help me in mapping out my idea. Also, I have an idea to start a new beer brand. Now, to come back on the tests, I do not think you can be a good entrepreneur if you are a bad manager. The biggest and most important difference is, in my opinion, that an entrepreneur is extremely close to his company and that it is difficult to let other people handle things for you. The reason is that as an entrepreneur, your money is in the company, and that is exactly what is at stake. Also, an entrepreneur is driven by his passion for the firm, while a manager is not always driven by passion. For me, passion is important, but even more are decisiveness and persuasion. As I am a very goal-oriented person, I think the goal justifies the means, until a certain extent of course. But this also means that I sometimes have to make decisions that are not so well received by everybody. In the leadership style test I scored highest on the coaching style. I was expecting this because I think that you have to give people freedom, but still give them feedback. Also, coaching causes people to remain motivated. Motivation together with efficiency are the keys to success in my opinion. I believe, however, that the 4 leadership styles have to be combined. A combination of them will work best, because if a team works correctly and delivers good results, you have to treat them differently than a team who is not working at all. My dream job is to become a director of a transportation company or HR or sales manager in the automotive sector. Is this possible? Yes, I believe it is. Entrepreneurs are wanted by many companies, therefore I could first start my transportation company and sell it after a certain amount of years. Then I could try to get my way into the automotive sector. Now to conclude, here is my final reflection after the first semester. First of all, I have to admit that I was really not looking forward to the subject of talent development. I've always disliked talking about myself or my feelings, and that is exactly what we have to do. Also, reflections were one of my nightmares, but the subject has to be succeeded in a good manner or we cannot pass. Self-reflection is not so bad after all, and I could say I'm a bit more at ease now and I make the best of it. I also start to like the subject, and it is very good for me to think about what I want to obtain within a certain amount of time. Also, planning is going better now, or better said, my ability to keep up with my planning. A thing that I really like is that Artevelde has stimulated my sense for creativity. For example, I started drawing again, after 8 years. I think that talent development really helps us to get out the better part of ourselves. When you are forced to think about some things you would not think of in the first place, you will provide yourself with ideas that can help you along. These things can help you to keep your goals in mind. I really liked the part in session 2 about A and B objectives. Nothing was said that I did not already know, but I only knew it in the back of my head. Sometimes these things have to be spoken out before you start to think actively on them. I think the process which talent development is, helps us the most. Not the portfolio or the sessions apart from each other, but the triggering of the mind, being forced to think about your future and yourself. I must say that I think talent development is a very useful subject. I have put in a lot of work in my portfolio, so I hope I did it correctly.